Hello YouTube and welcome back. I am Benjamin Williams and today we're going to be doing another real device home lab demonstration. Today's video is going to be focused on span or port mirroring. So this video is a little bit special because it is going to be included within my data mining course that I'm taking right now at North Carolina A&T State University. It is going to be included within my final project that we were able to do within data mining. I decided to do data mining within the network. We can collect a lot of information that goes across our network and identify network anomalies, track problems that are going on, etc. So that is the topic that I decided to further research. And today's video is going to be focused on span or port mirroring. We're going to be using my Cisco switch. And as we know, within the network, a lot of different devices are connected to our switches. And our switch is a good point within the network to collect data. So that's what we're going to be doing within this video. That is actually the topic of span or port mirroring. What we're going to be doing is we're going to take this computer right here and we're going to connect it into the switch. And this switch is going to mirror all of the traffic that comes from this computer and this switch, and it's going to send it to my other computer, which is over there. And from there, we can use a protocol analyzer such as Wireshark to see exactly what this computer is sending to this switch. And we can identify, for example, network problems. We can see the performance. So if this device right here is sending a bunch of information, why is it sending that information? Where is this information going? We can collect all of this data by using a protocol analyzer such as Wireshark. So that is kind of where my research was on this project, and also how you can use a resource such as span on a Cisco switch to be able to collect this information, identify the information, and then run different algorithms if you wanted to on the data to further see what is going on and how you can optimize your network. So that's enough for me talking. We have some Cat6 cables right here that we're going to be using to interconnect everything, and I'm going to show you guys that next. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so the first thing that we need to do is give our device some power. So I have the power cable right here. We're going to go ahead and plug that in to give this switch some power to run with. So it's starting now. I can hear the fans going. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug in my console cable as well to this switch because we're going to be doing some configuration on it. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing turned around and get into the lab. All right, so we have a fresh configuration as we can see on our switch. It is asking us, do we want to enter the initial configuration dialog? We're going to type no, because we do not want to do that. And then we can see our device name, which is by default switch for this Cisco Catalyst 3750 switch. All right, so now let's go ahead and get into some configurations that we need to do. So the first thing that we need to do is create an IP address for the VLAN 1 interface. As we know, each of these interfaces by default on this switch are going to be in VLAN 1. This is the initial configuration. And we're in user exec mode right now. So let's do an enable to go into privilege exec mode. And then we want to do a configure terminal to go into global configuration mode. And let's do an interface VLAN 1 to go into the interface configuration for VLAN 1. And we want to do an IP address of 192.168.1.1. Let's do a /24-bit subnet mask or 255.255.255.0. Let's hit enter there and let's do a no shut. And let's confirm this interface is up. Let's do a do show IP interface brief. And we can see that our VLAN 1 interface is configured with the IP address we just did, which is 192.168.1.1. Okay, so now the next thing that we want to do is pull up our laptop. All right, so we have our laptop up now, and we're going to go ahead and plug in this connection from our Ethernet adapter on our MacBook to this switch. And before I do that, let me configure port fast on this port right here so it comes straight up. So before I do that, let me do an exit and let me go into interface for fast Ethernet 201. And let's do a spanning tree port fast. And that will just allow this port to come up as soon as we plug it in. It's going to turn green. We don't have to go through the listening and learning state. All right. So as you can see now, we get the green light as soon as we plug in. So that's perfect. The next thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and plug in my computer, which was going to be doing all of the capturing. So we're going to capture all of the traffic on this device, and it's going to go to the fast Ethernet 01 interface on the switch. And then we're going to mirror all of the traffic that comes across this port, and we're going to send it into the fast Ethernet 03, which is where I'm going to plug my laptop into. So I have a Ethernet adapter on the end of my laptop, as you guys can see right there. And this cord, the Ethernet, the other side of the Ethernet cable is right here. So it's coming from my laptop to this cable, and we're going to plug it into the fast Ethernet 03 port. So before I do that, let me configure port fast on that interface as well. So it'll come straight up. So let's do an exit. Let's go into interface for fast Ethernet 203. And let's do a spanning tree port fast. Hit enter there. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to take the connection from my laptop and plug it into the fast Ethernet 03 right there. And as you can see, it gets the green light right away as well. And we can see that it has been it's seen on our switch as well, because we get that the fast Ethernet 03 state has changed to up. All right, so now we have our connection from our Mac to the fast Ethernet 01 and from our computer over here into the fast Ethernet 03. Now let's go ahead and set up span or port mirroring on this switch. So everything from the port mirror on the fast Ethernet 01 is going to be sent to the fast Ethernet 03. And then we're going to pull up Wireshark as well, so we can see the traffic as it goes across the network. All right, so let's do an exit here. And we want to do monitor session to set up this span session. We're going to name this session number 1. And we want to do a source. The source is going to be this MacBook, because that is the traffic that we want to analyze. So the source is going to be the fast Ethernet, and we can do context sensitive help. We're going to do the interface option for fast Ethernet 201, because if we remember, that is our MacBook and it's plugged into the fast Ethernet 01 connection. All right. And we can specify whether we want to do it on only receive traffic or transmit traffic. If we do not specify, it's going to do both. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit enter there. And then also we want to monitor as well. So let's do monitor session 1. And now we need to specify the destination where we want to send this traffic. And that is going to be to this PC over here, which is going to be the fast Ethernet 03 port. So we want to do destination interface for fast Ethernet 20/3. All right. And let's hit enter there. So now what we want to do is we want to do an exit, and then we can do a show. Okay. Let me hit enter again. Let's do a show monitor session. Get some context sensitive help. We want to do the session number 1, and let's hit enter. And as we can see, we specified a source port for the fast Ethernet 201, and it's monitoring both egress and ingress traffic. And our destination port that we're sending the traffic to is for the fast Ethernet 03, which is the connection where we're going to pull up Wireshark. So now let's go ahead and pull up Wireshark and analyze some traffic. Well, we're going to pull up Wireshark, and then I'm going to configure an IP address on this device. We're going to watch that go across Wireshark, and then we're also going to send some pings from this Mac to the switch itself, and we're going to monitor that traffic as it goes across the network. So let's go ahead and get into that. All right, so we have Wireshark up on my laptop that's sitting over here. So we have that up, and we're going to be monitoring the Ethernet interface because that is the one that we connected in right here on the Fast Ethernet 03. And we have the MacBook up, and I'm going to go to the network settings on my MacBook and go to the Ethernet connection. And as you can see right now, it's using DHCP, and it has a AP IPA address. It looks like we want to go down to the TCP IP, and we want to do a manual configuration. So we're going to manually configure an IP address of 192.168.1.2 for this MacBook. We did .1 on the switch. All right, and we want to do a /24-bit subnet mask. So let's do a 255.255.255.0. And we do not need a default gateway in this situation because we're only going to be monitoring traffic on this actual network. We're not going outside of this network or anything like that. I just wanted to do this as a demonstration video. And you can also see now how this can be expanded out into an entire network where you can collect a lot of traffic. But for now, we're just going to hit OK. Well, before I hit OK, let's go ahead and pull up the Ethernet option on Wireshark so we can start capturing some traffic that's going on. And now if we hit OK, we're going to see some ARPs, as you can see, going across the network. So we're monitoring this traffic right now as it goes across the network. We see some broadcasts, and we're going to stop this here in a second. But first, let's generate a little bit more traffic. So let's pull up the console on my Mac. Or not the console. Let's pull up the terminal. Terminal on my Mac. And now I'm going to do a ping. So can I increase this a little bit so you guys can see it just a tad bit better? Yeah. Increase so you guys can see me type in the actual ping. Let's do a ping to 192.168.1.1, which is the switch. And you can see this traffic is being generated. We can see ICMP traffic. That is the ping protocol. So we can see this traffic going across the network. Let's go ahead and hit a Control Z to stop this. And let's stop the captures on Wireshark. So we can, just by these couple of seconds or minutes that we have been capturing traffic on the network, we can see everything that has went on within our network on this protocol analyzer, which is Wireshark. We can see the amount of packets that have went across the network, which was 142. We can see the dropped amount, which was 0 packets, which is good. That means that nobody is losing any packets on the network. We can analyze this further by going into like statistics. We can go to conversations, and we can go over to IPv4, and we can look at this specific ping. That was from the destination IP. So from this MacBook, which was 192.168.1.2, we configured that on this MacBook just a couple of seconds ago, and we pinged to 192.168.1.1, which was this switch. We can see that it sent 23 packets in total. We can see the amount of bytes. We can see a lot more information such as start time, the duration of how long the pings went across the network. So we can gather a lot of information over the entire network to perform matrices to see how much traffic is traversing the network on a normal day. And if we're getting attacked, we can compare what a normal day would look like to what we're being attacked against to see if that's normal or not. So just from this small, simple lab right here, we were able to see how we can collect traffic that is going across our network, further save and analyze that traffic, and then we can run algorithms that we learned within our my data mining class, which I'm doing research in right now. And then we can see anomalies that is going on with our network, and we can save this information to large drives. That's what this data mining class is about in general. So being able to collect this data, store it somewhere, and it's going to be stored, and it's going to be a lot of information, especially if we're doing a packet by packet captures using resources such as Wireshark. We can do we can collect data in other ways, such as NetFlow is another way that we can collect data, and that stores flows. So it uses basically the metadata that it would get from a resource such as Wireshark to be able to capture and store that information. and I have went into and explained as well what NetFlow pertains to within my slides as well. So I'm very excited to do some more research within this scope and further learn more about how I can optimize my network, see what's going on using resources such as Wireshark, etc., storing this information over time and then further analyzing it. So I appreciate you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.